So in today's session, we are going to start our topic membrane transport. So what is membrane transport? Basically, it is the process of which substances they moves across the membrane. It can be in or out of a cell. Suppose this is any kind of membrane. Suppose this is a membrane. Then the transport can be in and out of the cell. Okay. Suppose we are having some kind of gases. They can be O2 or CO2. Let's take example of these two only. They can be in or out of a cell, right? ऐसी हमारे पास कुछ membranes होती है. They can be permeable और non permeable और they can be selective permeable. ठीक है, जिसमें movement होती है on the basis of their permeability, on the basis of the movement of small ions or molecules, on the basis of the permeable, non permeable and selective permeable. सेलेक्टिव परमिएबल में बेसिकली क्या होता है, इट अलाउज द सेल टू मेंटेन ओनली अ कांस्टेंट इंटरनल एनवायरनमेंट, यानी कि उसमें होम्योस्टेसिस देखने को मिलती है हमें. देन द फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज मेम्ब्रेन ट्रांसपोर्ट. The process by which substances, they can be ions, molecules or nutrients, moves across the biological membrane, means in or out of a cell. Transport as per gradient, we are having of two types, active transport and passive transport. Now let's see what are these. Now see what is active transport. Basically it works against the gradient, यानी कि अगर ग्रेविटी डाउनवर्ड है तो इसका जो ट्रांसपोर्ट होगा वो अपोजिट डायरेक्शन होगा. इट मीन्स डेल्टा जी भी पॉजिटिव होगा उस टाइम पे, और उस टाइम पे इसको एटीपी की भी नीड पड़ेगी. एटीपी विल ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्ड. Then it uses specific transport proteins which are known as the pumps. Some pumps we are having like proton pump, hydrogen pump and calcium ATPase is also used. Then we are having another is the passive transport. It does not require energy to move substances across the membrane. यानी कि ये membrane के gradient के ही उसमें आता है. Means ions or molecules crossing membrane moves down to its electrochemical or concentration gradient. It means the delta G will be negative and it will uses osmosis, simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Now see, osmosis is done through the water transport or it is the water diffusion. Then simple diffusion and we are having facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion basically are the diffusions that takes place through any facility. They can be your carrier protein, they can be your channels. Okay, then carrier proteins are present in the plasma membrane. Then osmosis is the water diffusion and it is also showing the colligative property. Now see, diffusion generally it occurs in the cases of gases. Water diffusion is the osmosis. It shows the colligative property. Then we are having facilitated diffusion. When diffusion takes place through any facility, they can be your carrier protein or your channels. Then we are having transport proteins. Transporters can occur via phospholipid bilayer or by the help of specific integral membrane proteins called permeases or transport proteins. Now see what are the carrier proteins. Basically they are the transporter proteins that bind to a particular molecule and change its shape to it from one side of the membrane to the other. Like we are having GLUT protein of 12 alpha helix, that is the glucose protein, which is the glucose transporter. Then we are having channels. Like membrane channels are protein pores that permit the passive or selective movement of ions or small molecules across the membrane. Like we are having aquaporin, which is the water channel. Its size is 0.3 nanometer pore only. Then it is made up of porine proteins, but they have their own porine system but not as selective as the aquaporins. Then we are having chloride channels. from where the chlorine passes. Now see, if chlorine channels with closed or blocked, then cystic fibrosis disease will be caused. Now, this disease will caused by the malfunctioning of the ion channels, namely CFTR, which is cystic fibrosis transport regulator channels. Okay, because the cells are very sensitive to calcium concentration and they act as cell signaling molecules, and hydrogen pump are more frequent in animal cells. Then third we are having is the ion channels. Now, ions are the transported on the basis of their electrochemical gradient. They are specific to their charge and size of ions. Now, membrane loves to be in dynamic gradient and they are not always open. Then followed by this, ion channels are of two types, which are gated ion channels and non-gated ion channels. Now see, what are gated ion channels? Gated ion channels consist three gated ion channels, which is ligand gated, voltage gated and mechanical gated. Now the ligand gated, they open and close in response to the binding of neurotransmitters or some other signaling molecules, like we are having is the acetylcholine. Then voltage gated ion channels, the opening and closing of the voltage gated ion channel depend upon the electron potential or charge of the cell. Suppose we are having is the sodium and potassium pump. Then followed by the third, which is the mechanical gated channels. In this, they open and close due to physical force like stretch or pressure. Their main function is basically transmission of nerve impulses, muscle contraction and sensory processes like touch, hearing, stretching, walking, listening, etc. Then in ion channels, the second type we are having is non-gated ion channels. Basically, they work on the basis of their electrochemical gradient and charge, and they are always open, but they allow specific ions or molecules to enter inside the cell. So with this, we have completed our topic membrane transport and transport as per gradient. Now, in next session of cell biology and genetics, we will continue with pumps and signaling molecules or signal transduction topic.